What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me in the airport. Familiar space for y'all to see me walking through, and headed down to Tampa. So I live streamed late last night, got at it this morning, and I'm on my way to Tampa. My flight is actually delayed a little less than an hour. Hopefully it's not delayed anything more than that, because we got to take care of business. And then I'm gonna go over and see a couple of friends and stuff like that. I know Rita's already there. And a couple different things. Number one, no excuses, man. I don't care what your circumstance is. I don't care what's happening with you. You gotta go and get it. Hey, you gotta go and get it. You know, you can't keep making excuses while you're not successful and when you're not great, when you got the same 24 hours in a day as everybody else. Now, I decide that, you know, I want to sacrifice sleep sometimes. Sometimes I'm sleeping more than I ever have before. But I decide that I want to sacrifice sleep sometimes in order to be able to take care of business and be on top of things. I know that I got to get down to Tampa and take care of business with regard to some other stuff. So what do? I'll make sure that I book my flight according to what my schedule says. I can't miss out and leave chips on the table because I got a finite amount of time and energy that I can devote to it. So I got to move it around and I got to manage it accordingly. Y'all don't have a calendar. I don't know anybody, not one person, that does not live and die by their calendar. If you don't have a calendar that you live and die by, you absolutely fumble in the bag. All right, that's number one. Number two, I was listening to Cardi B. Actually, I was listening to her on $1 Million Worth of Game, and then I seen her with the clip, which I dropped earlier this morning. And it seems like a lot of women, and I don't know if it's just because they're older or they starting to see the toxicity around the women that subjected themselves to this feminist culture, but a lot of women are divesting themselves from the feminist plantation, even to their own fan base and their own demise, because it's not in their best interest to do so when you talk about financially. Which makes it even worse for these simps, right? Because if you think about a simp, in a lot of ways, it's two different types of simps. The first simp is the guy that panders to women in order to get resources and get money, right? I kind of look at him as like a social media homosexual, because they know that they selling you a lie. They know that they fronting. They know that they finessing. And so they kind of more or less can be a pimp than a simp, but they simping for the women in order to get the money, right? And you ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta trip. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta finesse. All you gotta do is keep it 100 and keep it real, and they gonna fuck with you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never felt like I had to lie to a chick in order to get a bag or in order to get whatever it is that I wanted. I always was just gonna keep it 100% of the time, and then whatever happens. However it shake out. As a matter of fact, if she ain't fucking with it, then that's cool, because at least I know that I avoided any of the issues and the problems that came along with that. So I was cool with that. But then it's another type of simp. It's the simp that really believes that women are the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's the worst type of dude, because he'll die on a cross. He will absolutely die on a cross for what he believes in. And it's nothing worse than trying to convince a dude that's immersed in it so much that he's wrong. He's wrong 100% of the time. So most of the time you gotta just let these guys crash out. You can't try to convince them. They are what they are. You let them fail, and you let them suffer, and then they wind up coming back, and then those are the ones that wind up being like the worst of the worst, and then they become incels, and then they embarrass us even more. So it's always gonna be those type of guys that exist, but we're not worried about those guys. The only thing we worried about is continuing to gird up. And see, the more that you continue to reject what it is that a lot of people are saying and embracing, the more they're gonna have to realize it. Even Cardi B, right? Think about it. I would tell you that the majority of the women that probably follow her and support her and buy her music are women. I don't see, in alphabet community guys, I don't see a lot of people, a lot of guys actually going out there to purchase Cardi's music. So then it's not really in her best interest financially to say, hey, this is an unpopular take. but I don't really subject myself to or rock with feminism because ain't no, I wouldn't mind doing 50-50 and then she start getting on women about 50-50 when the whole narrative this whole time, which also shows me that celebrities pay attention to what's happening in popular culture, right? And she was just basically like, yo, I don't know why women would want to be in a situation where they would want their man to crash out or they want their husband to crash out and he paying all of the bills and she ain't doing nothing as a result of it. And then y'all want to ask questions and y'all want to say, well, Anton, how do these people, or how do women live so much longer than men, especially in a married environment? Well, that's because that man is dedicating his life and crashing out for a chick that don't give a fuck about him because she just taking advantage of him. We don't exist to serve women. And that's the thing that a lot of guys is missing. It's actually the other way around. That's an unpopular take, but it's the truth. We don't exist to serve women. It's the other way around. They are the helpmeet, meaning that they're supposed to be getting under our program, getting under our covering. And when you let a woman even dictate what the hell is happening in your household and what's happening across the board, you already failed. It's no possible way that you can even be respected in your own household when you're talking about a partnership and you get with a woman that dictate how it is that's supposed to happen inside of your household. Talking about a partnership, look, I don't care what she making, I don't care what she generating, I don't care what's on the table, none of that. And most of them still can't answer the question after all of these years of what you bring to the table. I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't do partnerships, especially with women. I just don't, right? We can do a temporary contract, you could be a contractor, but I'm definitely not doing a partnership, especially with regard to a relationship. And I'm glad that I live it because it's easy for a lot of guys to talk it. It's a lot of guys talking shit, but they can't actually implement it. They don't have no real life experience with implementing it, right? And so when you look at me and you look at my situation and you look how I talk and how I rock out, and that I'm uncompromising with the way that things is gonna go and I'm still able to operate the way that I operate, that should give you a little bit of encouragement that this is the way that it should have been all along. This is how the men of yesteryear, not way back, but like the boomers, they failed. Because they the ones that gave you happy wife, happy life. They the ones that messed up their families. They the ones that fumbled everything. They had everything. They had the money. They had the resources. And you need to just walk in your manhood, walk in your confidence, walking the same way that I'm walking through this airport right now. And I truly don't give a fuck about what's happening around me. Look at all of these people. Everybody. There'll be people all around me just watching, trying to figure out, oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't give a fuck. I'm me. I'm right. And when you're right, you don't negotiate, you don't sit there and compromise, you don't do none of that stuff, right? So anyways, I gotta go, I gotta tap out. I got some work to do before I get on the plane, especially considering that my flight got delayed, so I'm gonna actually turn that into a benefit. And then whatever additional work that I gotta take care of, I'll take care of it on the plane. And that way I can 100% focus on what I got going on when I land from a business perspective. Every situation, every delay can be a blessing, depending on how it is that how you modify it. It's a guy right here, frustrated, losing his shit. Just dropped his stuff. Losing his shit. He just lost his shit. He just dropped this. He just left his stuff. I don't know if y'all could even see that behind me, but he just dropped his stuff and he just walked away. Dealing with an unruly chick. And it ain't no black man, it's a white man. Older white man. Look like he been dealing with this shit for years. Not me though. Not me though. Never me and never you. I love you. I appreciate you. Pull your skirt up, big dog. Let's get it. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.